Now, I've been requested to do a Flamesinger guide, which will be interesting. I'm having to try to do it on my tablet, which lags like fury. But I can't record sound or anything on my phone, so here goes nothing. Now, the most important thing about Flamesinger is you are basically revolving around one skill, one very annoying skill, and it's this, Blazing Sphere. Now, Blazing Sphere, as you can see, nearly 1,000 attack plus nearly 9,000 in fire damage. It is massively op. But, as you can see, you can only use it when heating up is active. This is a massive problem. Right? Getting heating up active all the time, constantly, in order to use Blazing Sphere is what really lets this class down. If it was triggered the same way as like your CS Disintegrate, wouldn't be a problem. It'd be great. Flamesinger would probably do more damage than CS. But it's got this heating up drawback. Now, how do we get heating up to come on? Well, there's two ways. Your Fireball, that has to crit. Right, if I go to Pyrogenic, it'll say about it. See, Fireball, crit attacks of Fireball, or Anti-Magic Fireball, if you prefer that. I don't, but that's up to you. Personal preference. Grants Hot Pursuit by 2 stacks and gain heating up effect that makes Blazing Sphere available to you. So, you need, in reality, you actually need 2 crit attacks, and that makes heating up. Also, Incinerate will do it as well. So it's either Fireball or Incinerate, but Incinerate has a cooldown. That's the trouble with Incinerate. But you need to crit with Fireball and or Incinerate in order to trigger heating up, which enables you to use Blazing Sphere. Now, as you can see, it says heating up lasts 10 seconds. Yeah, it doesn't. And you need 2. So you go 1, 2, and then you can use Blazing Sphere, you see. So you have to have 2. So you're constantly in cast in order to use Blazing Sphere, which is really, really bad for movement, mechanics, anything, you name it. It's terrible. You can also use Incinerate, 1, 2, but then you've got an 11-second cooldown, and just 1 Incinerate won't work. So you can use 1 Incinerate and a Fireball in order to get it. It's tricky, but that is basically what your goal is, what your aim is all about. In order to, you've got to ensure crit attacks. There's nothing else for it. Now, in order to do that, you need, I know everybody says it's nuts, but you need that level 85 on 100%. That is your main goal, because if it's not, your Blazing Sphere won't pop all the time, your rotation will be totally screwed up, and you will do 1 mil less damage. Honestly, it is that bad. As far as I'm aware, it's the only class in the whole of WoK that requires that much crit. If they fix Blazing Sphere, then we'll be able to go down to normal, but you can't do the 110 that CS does, because you just seriously can't. It just doesn't work. You drop way too much. Even with full healer buffs, you drop way too much damage. It's just unworkable. So that's why the crit is so important. Getting crit, pretty straightforward. Your setup is essentially the same as a CS. So your talents, etc. Except for one major thing where, because FS is a dot class and relies on a lot of dot rather than direct attacks, we do use the ignite rather than the up attack, because up attack is only works on direct attacks, as you can see. So ignite is much better, because then you're doing dot for half an extra bit of dot. All of your skills have dot. That's why it really works well for us. You do not need basic attack. Basic attack does not come on automatically like it does with CS and some other classes. So, you know, it really, even if you press it accidentally and it's on, it doesn't do anything anyway. You know, it's not triggered because you're constantly in cast. It does nothing. So because of this crit requirement, sigils, you got your usual for your red and your purple, but obviously you need a lot of crit. As T4 drops it, you can put in some haste, but then when you get T4, you do tend to have to replace the haste with crit. At the moment, I can only have that one haste in. But as the crit builds back up again, I can replace the sigils. So like, as you can see, I've got 2 level 7 haste sigils there, ready for when I can actually reduce my crit again in the sigils. Also, runes are exactly the same, the usual thing, except for the last page. Last page you have on number 8, because that's the crit strike one, rather than number 9, which is the haste one. Is there any other way I get crit? Well, on T3 you selected certain different items, but I think pretty much everyone's going on to T4 now, so your weapon, so your gear is T4, you can't alter it anyway. Now weapons, another way is using the main as a legendary rather than the offhand. Offhand legendary is haste, really strong haste, which is no good, whereas your main is, as you can see, is, where is it? I can't see it. It's crit anyway. Oh, there it is, yeah. So your crit is 372 on the main. The offhand is high haste. The event offhands are also high haste, so completely useless. You need the Maelstrom Orb, which is crit heavy rather than haste heavy. So that's the offhand situation regarding that. Maybe in future, once we've got over the massive crit drop that T4 gives you, we can switch to the offhand, but currently there is really no point in any offhands other than the Maelstrom. Because, you know, until we can get that massive amount of crit back, it's pretty screwed. Right. So your charms obviously would be Ignite if you're lucky enough to get them rather than Up Attack. And that's that sort of thing. Haste, of course, is your secondary thing after crit, but with having to have so much crit, your haste does suffer. Artifacts, pretty much the same as CS. You want your Force Release and your Mana Torrent. Your Bravery, you don't really want Cunning, but I can get rid of the bastard thing. You want your Saw Blade. Sharp Edge, oh, there's the point, in Talents. Because we need so much crit, you can do with, obviously if you're starting off you need this more, but you can do with 1 point in Sharp Edge, just the one, just so that if you get it in the Reforges, it will really help with the crit rate. So I would honestly suggest putting 9 into the crit, into the Saw Blade, but put 1 in Sharp Edge so that Reforges can help you get that essential crit rate. It's mad for crit, this class. What else is there? Let's see, we've done that. Yeah, sigils. I mean, a lot of stuff is pretty much the same as CS, really. Rotation. Now, I'm on my tablet, so this is going to be laggy and everything's a bit spread, so I can't do it brilliantly. But your skills, so where are we? Right, your skills, your inscriptions. It's very heavy inscriptions. My inscriptions are 19.4k. And here's why. Now, penetrating fire, you need that on Incinerate. That gives you resistance penetration. Very important. Very, very, very important. And where are we? Meteor, Moth of Fire. You want that, the 155.4%. Meteor never used to be much in our rotation. However, it has come back in. It was in T2 because it gave you extra haste. T3 it was out, but now they've added an extra 300% damage to it. And with that, plus 155.4% damage to it, it is worth doing. It's a 30-second cooldown, so you might want to time it for certain points during raids. But that goes into the working around the skill sort of thing. You get that more with experience and that. You need to know timings of when bosses are going to do certain things. So for instance, running into a corner in that raid, where you run into the corners, you want to whack down Meteor and just as you start running, because obviously when you're running you can't cast, so you can't do Blazing Sphere, but you can whack a Meteor down on its ass and it gives you 10 seconds of dot whilst you're stood in a corner. So you're still doing damage whilst you're in a corner. And of course, Burning Path on Blazing Sphere, that's the really pretty one that I really personally love. That's what I think some people call it a cleave, but it's a Burning Path. And that does extra damage, extra dot damage, which is very, very pretty, and it's very good in altars in PvP. Very good. Just cuts through people, it's belting. Flame Nova, I've got that set to long arm because it's not used in the rotation at all. It's a throwback skill. It's a blast wave. It doesn't do much damage anyway. It's a throwback skill. It's very good for use in altars. Mass PvP, yeah. But that's about it. That's why I've got it on long arm, so it whacks as many people as humanly possible in altars. And it throws people when you're doing other PvP as well. So, and it's very good for interrupting when, say, an MM is doing that horrible shooting arrows thingy. If you're in range with this, if you're within the 5 yards range of it, it will stop them doing that. It will interrupt them. It's a great interrupt in PvP. So that's only really when it's used in PvP. Or if the tank's useless and doesn't move the damn mobs off the puddles, so they keep healing whilst you're trying to kill them in Overlord, yeah, then use it. That's also a good thing, when the tank doesn't move the sodding mobs. You just go, yeah, okay, you can't do your job, let me move them for you, bosh. Anyway, yeah. So, what else we got? Oh yeah, Mastery. Mastery, PvE, you are always using rolling. Always using rolling. It doesn't matter whether you're using Fireball or Anti-Fireball, always using rolling in PvE. The other two are good in PvP. Now, your Meteor Blast, that is particularly awesome when you're in mass PvP. Because it stuns everyone. So in altars, it'll stun everyone in altar. It's brilliant. It's got a 3-second stun, belting thing. But its cooldown does go to 60 seconds when you're stunning, but it's worth it just to whack meteors in people's faces. Protective Field, I tend to only use that in like Lost Temple. Because then if you grab the artifact, you can teleport twice and use your roll. And you're just freaking straight in there, bosh, done. So that's always handy. But yeah, if you need more shielding or something, then yeah, sure, whatever. I suppose it depends on your level. So that's that sort of thing done. Talent, Strategist. I personally think everyone should have Field Doctor as the last thing in Strategist. Just for that 40% of haste as res. It really helps you survive stuff. I have a Field Doctor Charming, only to hold the space because I can, whilst I'm waiting for a second Ignite. It's been nearly a year now. I'm never going to get a frickin' Ignite, am I? But that's the only reason why I've got it there. So don't, it's not actually for anything. It's just whilst I wait. So let's see. Yeah, I did runes. Your spirits and your masks, the new masks, are all pretty much the same, You need your boss damage. Anything with boss damage, grab it. Grab it and don't let it go. Right. Oh yeah, the reforges for the artifacts. Mine are terrible. You want your Ignite +2, obviously. You don't want Coordination. And you want your Dying Strike +2. You don't want Thunderblade. And you want your Dying Strike +2 there. And you don't want Ward. But hey, if you can get rid of them, good on you. I piss through thousands of the damn things to try and get it, but it doesn't work. Right. So let's go into rotation. I think I've done all that now. Oh, let's try and zoop up a bit. Yeah, let's get the zoopy. And what you'll notice is your burst damage on this shit is pretty awesome on this class now. You got a 20-second burst on your ulti. It is brilliant. You need it when you're in. You need it for when you very first start on a boss. Use it. And if it's a long boss, like in a raid, try and time it. You've got to time it well, so that you're going to get 20 seconds of maximum damage on the boss. So you don't want it within 20 seconds of you having to move. You don't want to use it within 20 seconds of it going into any sort of reflective state or anything like that where it's not taking it. You want to use it as soon as it comes out of a phase state so that you can quickly build up stacks again. And I mean quickly build up stacks again because it takes a long time to build up stacks on this class. When you haven't got your ulti, your stacks take forever to build up. It's terrible. Because it's all stacks, it's all dot and AoE this class, but it looks so much prettier. So let's kick off a rotation then. Now your living bomb, that does your damage bonus. We are using T3 deterrent. At this point, T4 deterrent is still absolute shite. So it's still absolutely terrible, it does nothing. So your T4, where do I see that? Oh yeah, deterrent power, noob. Right, so yeah, this is the important one. Living bomb increases the target's damage taken by you for 16 seconds. Right, by 16% for 6 seconds. So you need to, but it's a 12-second cooldown. So you need to do that every 12 seconds without fail. And the Blazing Sphere does 200% attack power, burning damage over 3 seconds. Even more dot on the Blazing Sphere makes the Blazing Sphere even more important. So yeah, you see why Blazing Sphere, massively important thing. It is where your damage comes from, basically. Even though when you do this, you're going to see that Fireball is higher, but that's only because you've got to do it twice, for each one thingy. So let's try and do a rotation. I'm going to be a bit slow because I'm on my tablet here, and the buttons are so far apart. Right, so we go bang, 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 pet, and then bomb, another one of them, that, and then boom. Then you're doing that, laggy you see. Then you're doing that constantly. The ulti means that you don't need 2 shots of Fireball. You only need the 1. There's certain things that also interfere with it, unfortunately. I'm not entirely sure what. I think maybe shock hammer, things like that, things on your mask. Not things on your mask, but as you can see, I'm lagging like fuck as well, which doesn't help. See, then once you go into this state, God, I'm lagging so much. You see, once you go into this state, you're doing your 2 or 3 Fireball, depending on lag, etc., in order to cast. Yeah, I've got lag on this. Normally I'd only need to do it twice, and then you see it comes up, you see. And you can do that. 1 Fireball, 1 Incinerate. But as you can see, there's a cooldown on the Incinerate. And that's pretty much your rotation. Wow, the lag. I can't really demonstrate it very well on this. As you can see, my tablet is not capable. That's why I run alts on it. See, it's totally crap now. But that's the essentials, really. Lag. So much lag. Oh, fun. So, yeah. But that's pretty much the point. Fireball is your main damage. Then your Blazing Sphere. Fireball is only main because you have to do it twice for each 1 Blazing Sphere. Your Ignite is going to be up there. Then your Meteor. Then your Meteor, now that they've buffed it, that's 100%, is lush. So you're doing that every 30 seconds. That's kind of it, because I'm lagging so much here. I can't really do anything properly. I don't think there's anything else you really desperately need to know. Everything else, I think, is pretty much the same. So I think that's it. And of course, check out the official Flamesinger song cold chamber sway, which is freaking awesome. If there's anything I forgot, feel free to PM me if I don't have you blocked. If I have you blocked, just don't. And that's all for now. You can check me out, Sal Salubrious, on many things online. If you don't let autocorrect put a